This morning, News 18 has new developments in a case we've been following since December. The Montgomery County prosecutor decided not to file charges against the police trooper who shot and killed Glenn Wrightsell.
He also released 17 pages of evidence, interviews, and legal precedents explaining the decision. This morning, we take a closer look at what we learned from those papers.
At 6:30 p.m. on December 28th, Glenn Wrightsell was on the side of US 231 trying to fix his daughter's disabled SUV. 2 hours later, he was dead by a gunshot wound to the mouth. Trooper Daniel Organ told investigators he fired the shots after he believed he saw Wrightsell reach for his gun, but that's not all that happened that day. According to the prosecutor's office, Wrightsell called Montgomery County Dispatch about the vehicle earlier that day. He told them he didn't want the car to be ticketed and would repair it soon. The message was forwarded to State Police Dispatch, but not to all troopers in the field, including Daniel Organ. At 6:35, Organ saw Wrightsell under the hood of the vehicle with a handgun on his waist belt. Organ says he turned on his police lights and took his gun out of the holster, but kept it down by his hip. He says he identified himself and added, quote, "Don't reach for your gun. Do you need help?" The document describes Wrightsell's movements like this. He looked at Mr. Organ and pushed his body away from the Tahoe, rolling up on his left hip. Mr. Wrightsell also brought his right hand back to Mr. Organ. This motion was consistent with drawing a handgun. Organ fired 6 shots, though he told investigators he only recalled firing 3. News 18 received this video from a witness who said Wrightsell had no medical attention for 20 minutes. The prosecutor's investigation verifies this. It indicates Wrightsell was on the ground but still in possession of his weapon and conscious until 6:46 p.m. He was also still conscious at the hospital, where he told 2 nurses he didn't know why the officer fired at him. Over the next hour, his condition would worsen until he was pronounced dead. After the fact, police learned that Wrightsell had an incident of resisting law enforcement in the past. However, Organ had no knowledge of that at the time of the shooting.
The document concludes with 5 pages of legal analysis for why Prosecutor Joe Buser said those facts don't support a trial. He says, quote, "To dispute a claim of self-defense, the state must prove beyond a reasonable doubt that Mr. Organ's fear of serious bodily injury or death was 1, dishonest, or 2, objectively unreasonable," end quote. Buser said the state would not be able to prove that beyond a reasonable doubt. You can read the full document right now on WLFI.com.